have an idea why?
I think it's just what you said. I think it's that the figure is outside the picture.
I find it generating visually. What would be upsetting about it?
It's unusual. And I would never have planned. I would never have planned anything like that. It just happened. I really stumbled into this and I just love it.
How do you start? Do you work in clay first?
No, I work in wax. I get these huge wax blocks, and you can see the blocks themselves here. And some of them are cut. They're about this size to begin with. And this one needed to be bigger, so I added to it. And this is part of one of the blocks. This is the ordinary size. They sell it.
Then you apply. How do you proceed from there?
I have a pot of wax on my stove, my poor stove. I have a pot of wax, and it stays hot for a while. I also use candles, and I heat knives and things.
So this sort of explains why there's a flat plane with figures on it.
Right.
As opposed to those two in the back.
Well, I just carved it away.
Which really, the whole figure ground is very integrated.
Yeah, because I started to carve it away.
Which ones did you do first?
Well, this is the first one I did. And actually, this is the very first relief I did. And I have a friend who came over and I said, what do you think? What do you think? And he said, oh, I'm having a hard time seeing it. So I'm having a hard time seeing it. So then I did this. I said, you see that, don't you? He said, yeah. So I went from there. And then this, I don't know what the order was. Jacob was the last one. So, but then I started to carve it away. And the interesting thing about this one is that the foundry found it really hard to cast that one. So I don't know if you know about bronze casting. So they make a mold, and then they put wax in it. Then they have a thin piece of thin wax so that it's not solid bronze in the end. And I had to practically redo the whole thing in the foundry because there were so many problems with the casting. Probably because there were all these indentations and everything, that I'm not sure. I have a mold that should cast another one, but I'm not sure it would. I'm not sure it would come out. I think I might have to do an original each time, basically.
I love the images separate from the story, separate from the narrative. That's a great image of childbirth.
Yeah.
And the way she is hugging the edge of that bed or horizon, even though you
Right,
say
it's not really the bed.
She's really grounding humanity,
It's
right?
really the bed.
She's making humanity.
I don't know what made me want to do that, but I have some
wonderful.
drawings of it, and what I do is I do a lot of drawings, and then I think of doing the relief from the drawings.
Do you have any sketches of?
No, I have them. I have that, but I just didn't put it up. Sometimes the drawings aren't artistically. I don't think they're quite.
Well, that is.
But you like it.
Yes.
Well, I'll look at the drawing again.
Do a drawing from your sculpture.
Oh no, I don't want to. I'd rather go on. Pick another story and work on it. I think I stumbled onto something.
Is this the first time you're working from stories? I don't know your past work.
I've never worked out of my head. This is the first time everything's... The other side of this is working out my window upstate New York, or in New York City, on the roof. This is the first time everything comes out of my head. And it's a lot of fun. And I like sculpture. I miss color. The reason I've always done sculpture. And the problem with sculpture is that I can't really use color. And somebody suggested I paint them. I can't do it. It would be a different kind of color. You can't, it's completely different when it's three-dimensional. So, it's just different parts of it.
Well, it's like the tonalities and the shadows. It's like a rich drawing. Or etching.
I've done it.
This looks great. Also, not only frontally, but from the side.
They're actually,
It's interesting.
this was so difficult to cast. Those are actually three-dimensional sculptures. I carved them separately and had to cast them separately. They were actually cast at a different place.
Do we have to look at them frontally? It occurs to me.
No.
So this is great.
And I welded them on. They're welded on. They're totally separate. But I didn't realize that was so expensive. I didn't realize what I was doing. Because, I had to pay for each one of these to be cast separately.
Not interesting. Money's not interesting.
Well, luckily I got a grant, or I would never have been able to do it.
Good.
Yeah.
Since you said you worked in three-dimensional, complete sculpture,
Yeah, that's
freestanding sculpture.
That's what I've done.
Have you thought of, is there any musings in your mind about how to integrate this, move the narrative and these figures in motion into the sculpture?
Into doing a three-dimensional. I have an idea of another Jacob and an angel that's three-dimensional. I have it started already. I just haven't had time to work on it. Yeah. I have an idea. I like action.
Yes.
I love action, and it's perfect for me. This is perfect for me. I've done sculpture out of my head before.
So you like conflict.
I like conflict.
And sin.
I like overcoming sin. I don't like sin, but I like the idea that it's part of us and that it's part of God, because I really think it's more real. The idea of something totally good doesn't interest me at all. So makes so much more sense to me.
So you've got a lot to look forward to, a lot of struggle and conflict and
Overcoming! The idea of overcoming. That's the idea.
Whatever, you've got a lot to look